Hello, Virgo. Let's go ahead and get started. So I've prayed over the cards, I've shuffled them. We are going to be using Doreen Virtue's Fairy Tarot deck today. I also have her Angel Answer cards shuffled and prepared and ready to go. And I also have shuffled the Gilded Lenormands. Okay, I guess you guys get two of those. As well as my Sabilas. So if we need any clarification as we move along, those are shuffled, ready to go. And I will pull one of the Angel Answers at the end. So let me see if you guys can see those. Pretty close. Okay, good. You guys have the situation, the foundation, recent past, recommendations, and then the potential outcome if you are to follow the recommendations that they're going to be providing today. Now we start off with the situation is the 8 of Autumn. And I love that the blanket's like Buckeye colored. What else, you guys can see it? So it is 8 of Autumn. At the bottom it says, do more research before proceeding. Education in the forms of seminars, going back to school or apprenticeships, excellent craftsmanship, and long-term projects. So this is a card that talks about, you know, learning everything you can, discovering, developing, growing. For some, it is talking about, you know, growing and developing through a mentor. You see how she's sitting next to that older woman who is mentoring, guiding, assisting her, but really doing the research. So for some of you, typically this card would be talking about, you know, really going back to school. Oftentimes that's to change careers, change career fields. Some of you very well could be doing that. But they're saying that most of you, this is applicable to you're trying to make a decision. You're having a shift. But you're trying to make a big decision and you're doing some research about that. And for some of you, this decision is somehow connected to money. Because in the traditional tarot, well, if this were the traditional tarot deck, the Autumn deck, that is the coins. So there could be some of you that maybe you've spiritually awakened and you are looking to take some classes. They're saying for some of you, you're going through a spiritual awakening, some classes, some education, some mentors are going to assist you with that. But for others, they're saying it's a big decision that you're trying to make. And you're doing research and getting information. Some of you are getting mentorship. Some of you are getting some assistance from others. The next card that we have is the Ace of Autumn. And at the bottom it says, a windfall of money, advice, or assistance from others, a very successful project, a happy change in your career. And this card talks about, you know, receiving a bunch of unexpected resources, assistance to help manifest the things that we desire, manifest our hopes and our dreams. It does talk about a new beginning. Aces are always new beginnings. But this is talking about money, finances, resources. So the foundation of this situation that you're in is related to money. So for some of you, it could be that, you know, you're going to be completely changing career fields to make more money. And for some of you, you're trying to figure out how to get the money to pay for those classes. But others, it is a decision that you're making. The foundation for some of you that's making it challenging for this decision is because it's founded on money. There's financial worries, financial concerns. But they're saying you need not worry about that because they're taking care of those things for you. Because for everyone, this decision that you're making, it is being divinely guided. This is 8. The number 8 does represent abundance, prosperity, things that are eternal, things that are never ending, like a divine love, divine support. Also talks about, you know, your life purpose. So you are being assisted. And for those of you that have worries about money, they're saying that you don't have to worry about the money because they're assisting you with that. And for some of you, you're having to spend money to get some assistance. So for some, it's almost like some legal advice is the guidance, the information that you're receiving, that you're having to pay for. Now, the recent past, you have 17. This is a major arcana. This is the Star. And at the bottom it says, look to the future with hope and optimism, the power of faith to move mountains, happy changes that bring relief from challenging times. And this card talks about, you know, really our challenges and things finally being over us, you know, finally being to a place where we can move forward, looking to the future with faith and hope and optimism. You see she's kind of looking forward. But it also talks about, you know, suddenly knowing what to do, suddenly having that aha, that divine information in order to move forward. Sometimes this card can also talk about spiritual joy, spiritual happiness. You know how they're saying that for a number of you, there's some divine signs, divine assistance is at play. So this is also talking about spiritual joy, happiness, spiritual connection. They're saying for some of you, because this is supposed to be the recent past. So for some of you, you have recently in the past finally come to the end of a challenging situation. For some of you, it was with a lover, a partner. For some, it could have been a challenging situation at work. But you have just in the immediate past come to the ending of that, the completion of that. Very challenging, very difficult, but you have finally reached the end of it. What they're saying is for some of you, it was so challenging and difficult that it has cost some of you, like your faith and your hope has wavered. You've lost all faith, lost all hope. So for some of you, this was a love interest, a love partner. For some, a spouse. For some, it was like a spouse, but you weren't married. But you had put all your hope and faith into this person. You thought, oh my gosh, this person is my shining star. They're the one I'm meant to be with. This is going to be amazing. Life is going to be wonderful. But then it came crashing down. And for some, it was brought on very quickly, swiftly. There's water all over here, and it's being splashed and thrown. Water typically represents emotions. They were saying it's a very emotionally challenging, turbulent time, which is why for a number of you, it has completely crushed your hope, your faith, your spirit. Because you thought this person, okay, this person's going to be my joy, but that is not, it's not how it played out. They're saying for some of you, it's almost as though you feel like you've been tossed about at sea. Because with having to let this person go, they're saying for a number of you, it was very turbulent, back and forth, back and forth. Some of you, they're saying almost like this person, because they were trying to have their needs met. And for some of you, because it is financially tied, they would pull you back in so that they could get finances and then let you go. But very draining, difficult time. But they are commending you because this is the recent past of finally getting free of that so that you can be hopeful and optimistic. Now, the interesting thing is that the next two cards that you have as recommendations, you have 7 of Summer and 2 of Summer. So let's start with this one. Now, Summer, this is in typical tarot, this would be Cups. Now, the first card is no more procrastinating. Your power comes from making a decision. Confusion that arises from overanalyzing the options. So a number of you, they're saying that you're procrastinating. You're not making any decisions because you're fearful of moving forward. Some of you, they're saying you're fearful because of finances. Some of you are fearful because of things that have happened emotionally. But they're saying you have to make a decision. It's time to come. The time has come for you to make a decision. And for some of you, it's actually a choice between two things. We have 2 autumn cards, 2 summer cards. So for some of you, you're trying to decide between an earth sign and a water sign. But for everyone, they're trying to get you to actually make a decision. Because for those of you in the situation, you've been spending a large amount of time. For some of you, they're saying months. And they're saying for some of you, actually even longer than that, could be years. Evaluating the pros and cons. Because, you know, they're saying that this was turbulent for a very long time. For some of you, years. It's making a decision about finally moving forward. It's a big decision you've been evaluating for a long time. That the time has come that you need to make the decision. Because everything's been stuck. And they're saying for those of you that this has been emotionally trying and challenging, you're keeping yourself stuck in that heavy place. Even sad, like they're pointing out this little girl, she just looks kind of sad. So a number of you are keeping yourselves in this sad place because you're not making a decision. Your lack of action is keeping you from moving forward and keeping you from happiness. They're pointing out this rainbow. So they're saying, so for some of you, you have a treasure at the end of this rainbow. You have to make a decision to get to that treasure. And that's where you'll find happiness. And also they're saying new beginnings because they're pointing out the flowers, the rebirth, regrowth. Now the other card is 2 of Summer. And at the bottom it says, falling in love, making a serious commitment to someone, forgiveness and the resolution of a problem. Don't give up. Your relationship can be healed. In traditional tarot, this would be the 2 of Cups. So it is talking about, you know, a couple, a relationship that you can count on, a relationship of loyalty, a relationship built on a foundation of trust, commitment to someone that you can trust, you can rely on, someone that would be safe for you to love. Because for some of you, you've been hurt so badly, you're afraid to open up and love and trust someone again. But this is a connection that can be celebrated, because it is on a solid foundation. So for some of you, you have a love interest that they're saying you do need to communicate with. You see that blue butterfly right down there? And for some of you, they're saying that it's a love interest. You're not in a relationship with this person. Actually, for some of you, they're saying you're not even in contact with each other, hence the need for the communication. But they're saying that there is still love between both of you in this connection. It is an equal partnership. It's balanced. And it's something that you can create that would be very special. And all the elements are there, but it does require some movement, because if there's no movement, the moment to create that could be lost. And it's interesting because you see the rose is all here. He's brought her here. It almost looks like he's going to propose. This sometimes is a meaning of proposal. So maybe some of you, you're being encouraged to propose. But then you see back here, you've got this waterfall coming down. So there are very strong emotions between these two that keep them connected. They are in love with each other. They're saying for some of you, you've had things that have been turbulent with that person, which is why there needs to be some communication. And then that will be resolved so you can move forward. Communication and some commitment with that. So let's see here. Let's do... there. So the first card, we're going to actually get some clarification on the 8 of Autumn. The first card we have is Scythe. And this is a card that talks about something being swift, sharp, fast, cutting through things with precision and clarity, being painful, difficult. It also speaks of difficult decisions that we have to make. And in the book that comes with this, it actually talks about Ecclesiastes 3, I think, verses 1. Essentially talking about everything has a season. And, you know, there's a purpose to everything. Now, the next card that we have, so that's the key. And this talks about, you know, discoveries, solutions, synchronicities. You've got the rose in there. It talks about things that are fated, you know, receiving the answers to things that we need. The key, you know, there's always whatever it is, the key to unlocking things, to being able to move forward, to also be set free. And the last one that we have is the cross. Number 36, and hopefully you guys can see that. And this talks about grief, sadness, burdens. You know, some people say, you know, a cross to bear, but it's something that's unavoidable because it also crosses divine. So they're saying for some of you, because that's about this card. So for some of you, you're trying to make a decision to cut someone out of your life. But it's essential that you cut them out of your life because that's the key to freeing you from these burdens that you've been carrying around. Because they're saying for a number of you, you've been in a relationship with someone that has been, you felt responsible for them. You felt as though they were your burden to carry. For some of you, finances, you've been taking care of them financially. For some of you, you've been assisting with their health care. But you felt as though this struggle with this person was your burden to bear. But they're trying to help you make the decision to free yourself. And for some of you, you may very well be freeing yourself. So for some of you, it could be saying that to free yourself from, yeah, those are right. Yeah, okay. Capricorn or Taurus, by freeing yourself from them, cutting yourself free of them, you will open your heart to love and you will no longer have that cross to bear, those burdens any longer. But you have to make the decision. And for some of you, there are some concerns. You are trying to cut free from someone, from a group, and you've been hesitant to do that because of money. The foundation concerns are finances. And some of you, they're saying that you're worried what will people think? Because for some of you to break yourselves free, it will impact your finances, which is why they're trying to get you some assistance. So for some of you, that's legal assistance. For some of you, it's friends, family, mentors who are helping you, assisting you. And then that's why they were saying earlier that you don't have to worry about money and finances because they're going to take care of that for you. Because you don't need to carry this cross, this burden any longer. Let's get some clarification on the star. That one's pretty self-explanatory. Actually, they all are. I just like getting additional information sometimes. Okay, so the first cards, we've got the mice, the tree, the fox. So the first card, the mice, this is a card that talks about, you know, theft, deception, stress, anxiety, worry. You know, mice, they come in the night and you wake up in the morning, you find that all your snacks have been chewed on. And then you have the tree, and this talks about, you know, family trees, longevity, building something, a foundation for something, for a secure future, family trees. But blessings, things that are happy. You know, you've got this rainbow that's all around it. And then you have the fox. And the fox speaks of manipulation, deception, ill intent, someone tricking you. Sometimes it can be speaking about, you know, someone that's very charming, then you find out that you did not ever have your interests at heart. Very sneaky. Things going on behind closed doors. And this is clarification for the star, which is the recent past. So they're saying for some of you, you had this relationship with someone, you were trying to build a family, a foundation, stability with them. But you're always worried about it. Because they're saying for some of you, it was like a cycle of back and forth with this person. But there was deception, there were lies, there were secrets, ill intent. I've never noticed that. So you have this rooster here. They're saying for some of you, there was another cock in the hen house. So for some of you, you were cheated on. They're saying for some of you, it was filled with deception and lies for a very long time. Some of you, it was a cycle of things would not go well, then they would improve, then they would get worse, and they would improve. Always filled with deception. They're saying for some of you, it was always filled with deception and lies. For some of you, also always filled with like cheating. And finally, an incident came to light that it was the camel. It was the straw that broke the camel's back, where you finally put down your foot and said, enough's enough. They're saying you finally saw the truth of what it was, which is why you've made the decision to break free. But they're saying some of you still have not fully made that decision to break free, which is why you need to do that. Which is why they're saying that this core situation is you making the decision to break free of this person, because that will set you free and that will relieve you of these burdens. And you have all the help that you need to do that. Okay. I thought it was interesting because they were telling me earlier when I paused, they were telling me that you have to let someone go, but then they were telling me that you have to make a decision to move forward with someone. I'm like, okay, but is this the person you're saying that they have to? And then they're like, no, it's two people, two different people. Which is when I was saying that you've got two here and you've got two there. So for some of you, you're trying to decide, you know, because you got your choices here. So for some of you, yeah, you've got your choices, you've got your child, you've got the letter. So for some of you, you're trying to decide between two people. You're trying to decide between someone who is I hate to put signs with it. So for those of you in the situation, you're trying to decide between two people. Some of you, it could truly be between an earth sign that you have to let go of and a water sign that you need to move forward with. But you have to make that choice because you have the choice. You have a decision between two things. Then you have the child. That also represents new beginnings. And then you have the letter, and that speaks of truth, communications. So they're saying for some of you, in order to move forward, you are going to have to make the choice. For some of you, that is a choice between two people. But making that choice will give you that new beginning that you need. But there also needs to be communication. So for some of you, you need to communicate the truth with yourself about the situation and make the decision in order to be able to move forward and have a new beginning. And for some of you, they're saying that the new beginning will be with the mother or father of your child. Now, let's see what we've got as the outcome. Okay. So you guys can see that. The outcome, we have 12. This is a major arcana. It's awakening. At the bottom, it says, change the way you're looking at the situation. Embrace your uniqueness. A temporary pause in action. And this card's talking about a change in your perception, the way that you look things, you know, completely looking at things from a different angle. And by doing that, it will end the stagnation and that, you know, being stuck. And it's also if you just look at this card traditionally, it talks about there being a lot of signs and synchronicities, things being brought to light, the truth being brought to the surface. And maybe things that you didn't see before, you'll finally see them. And for some of you, they're saying by seeing things at a new perspective, it won't be odd. So in the traditional tarot deck, this would be the Hangman. And you know, the Hangman talks about, you know, coming through trials, coming through tribulations, discovering who we are, embracing ourselves for who we are, making decisions on this new person that we are, this new person that we have become. and making decisions on things that are best for us, and not being concerned of what others are going to think or how they're going to view us, and seeing things that may not be so obvious. So for a number of you, you've been going through a spiritual awakening. You know how earlier they were talking about how your beliefs and your views are shifting, they're changing. They're saying for some of you, you've had very rigid views, very rigid beliefs. And those views and beliefs are shifting. And for some of you, you've had a hard time opening up to that, because it is a whole new way of thinking, because you're going through this spiritual awakening, because God is trying to open you up to the things that are not seen. And for some of you, who knows, maybe this person you're supposed to be deciding to move forward, maybe they're already fully spiritually awakened, and you're thinking, oh, that's kind of weird. That's totally out there and weird. But you're fighting who you are. Because if this is a divine connection, especially if it's twin flame connection, you're exactly like them. You'll see his head is illuminated. That's a sign of a spiritual awakening. So they're saying for some, it's an opening your beliefs, accepting, and also accepting you. Because they're saying for some of you, you're fighting these changes. So for some of you, if it's straight up spiritual awakening, you're trying to make some decisions, maybe you're wanting to take some classes and open up. You're fighting doing those because you're like, oh no, that's just, I wasn't raised to believe that, I wasn't raised that, people do readings. I wasn't raised that, you hear and you're guided. It's totally out of your norm. But the things that used to be your norm aren't resonating with you anymore. You don't enjoy the same things you used to. You don't enjoy hanging out with the same people anymore. But you're so worried. They're saying some of you are so worried about your image, of what are people going to think and what are people going to say, that it's time to shift your perspective, and you'll realize that it's going to be a beautiful transformation, and they're actually going to embrace you with open arms. See, these are butterfly wings. Butterflies go through a transformation. When they go into their cocoon, it's just at the point that they're out of oxygen and they're sure, okay, I'm going to die. Today is the day. I am over. This is finished. But that is when they break free. And they've transformed into something beautiful. Before they were ugly and they had these little spikes on them and just crawling around on stuff. Then they break out these beautiful wings. And they have freedom. Freedom to fly. And experience life how they want to experience it. So for a number of you, you're about to have a breakthrough, a breakthrough that's going to free you. By doing these things, making decisions, committing to a new person, even for committing to yourself, and making the decisions about what resonates with you and who you are, will get you unstuck. It's also going to bring you into greater balance, because they're saying for some of you, you've been totally out of balance with your emotions. For so long, it's put the rest of your life out of balance, which is why you have been stuck and why there has been a pause in action. Because they're saying by doing those things, by making the decisions, by stepping into who you are, you're actually going to move forward. You'll be out of this time of being, this standstill. Oh, and they're also saying you'll be able to balance your emotions. Because for some of you, you've been in a relationship that's been back and forth. It's caused you to lose your faith in humanity, and also your faith in love, and faith in people being honest and true. And your emotions have been all over. They've been a roller coaster. You see the current coming down here. But by making a decision, and for some of you, that's making a decision to commit, to communicate the truth with yourself, with someone else, you are going to come into complete balance. Your emotions are going to come back into balance. Things are going to thrive again. Because they're saying the balance that a lot of you, this is emotionally based, that you've been out of balance, but since you're so out of balance emotionally, they're saying for some of you it's because you refuse to open yourself up to love. And for some of you, because you refuse to let go. See here, it's almost like he's gripping this rock, so that he has something to hold on to. So for some of you, you've been holding on to this person because you're like, okay, that's my foundation. I just need something to hold on to, because everything's being flipped upside down. Everything is changing, morphing, which is morphing for the better, but because your perspective hasn't opened up to that yet, you're not seeing that it's for the better, which is why you're gripping to this rock that is not going to lead anywhere. But by letting go, trusting, and having faith, you will come into balance, they're saying. Because that emotional imbalance that you've been in, they're saying for some of you, it has actually started to affect your health. Some of you are starting to actually have some physical health issues because of it. For some of you, it's affecting your work. It's also straining your relationships with family and friends. And they're trying to get you out of that. Okay, let's do final awakening. Okay. Okay, so for most of you, this is love related. Trying to make it general, but they come to love. So hopefully for those of you that are listening to general, you're taking some of the general meanings for the cards when I just initially start to tell you guys what they're about. So hopefully you'll get something out of that. But this is definitely love related. The first card that we have, this is flowers. This talks about a gift, something that's beautiful, something that makes you happy. It fills your heart with joy and warmth, something that's a gift, an unselfish gift. And then we have heart. It's, you know, feelings, emotion, your other half, your counterpart. Swan's mate for life. You know, being devoted, monogamous relationships, eternal love. And then the last one that we have is the book. Let's see if you guys can see that. And the book is, you know, it talks about information, secrets, knowledge, things that were hidden or unknown. Something that somebody needs to know. The truth will set you free. They're saying the truth will set you free. So for some of you, they were saying how you have to share the truth, communicate the truth. For those of you that have not communicated the truth with someone else yet, they're saying the truth will set you free. The truth will repair that situation. But you have to be fearless and share that truth. Because by sharing that truth with that person, you'll come into a harmonious love that is divine. It is a gift. So they're saying it is written. So for some of you, this is truly a divine connection, a divine love. It could be a twin flame, twin soul, a soulmate. But it is divinely written in the book. So by doing these things, you will come into complete happiness. So that's good stuff. We'll take that. That's a good reading. So hopefully this helped you. Hopefully everyone got a little bit of information out of this, filled with love, joy, and blessings.